Are you someone who wants to get into crochet but has no idea where to start? Do you want to learn the fundamental basics? If you answered yes to either of those questions, then you've clicked on the right video, because today I'm here to give you guys some crochet tips for beginners out there who are just starting out on their crochet journey. These are some tips that I wish I had known when I was just starting out. They would have been so helpful to me, and I would have avoided so many mistakes along the road if I had been more knowledgeable of these things. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop rambling so we can just jump right into the video. The first beginner crochet tip that I have for you guys is to know the basic stitches and how to do them. This is so important, because if you know the basic stitches, you can literally make anything in crochet, and it will be so much easier to follow tutorials and patterns in the future if you just know these stitches on screen. And once you know these, you can build from them and learn the more advanced stitches moving forward. I personally started out only knowing what slip stitching was, and I got that so confused with single crochet, and it was not good. It led to me making so many mistakes. So make sure you know at least what a slip stitch is, single crochet, double crochet, and a slip knot. I think those are arguably the most important stitches that every crocheter needs to know. Granny squares are going to be your best friend. I think this should be one of the first projects you learn how to make, because granny squares can be used in so many different ways and different projects. You can make blankets, bags, cardigans, sweaters, pillows, literally anything you can think of can be made with a granny square, and it is such an easy project to make, and they're so easy to join together. A granny square was one of the first things I learned how to crochet, and I think that was like the best place to start, honestly, because it teaches you how to make a variety of different stitches. I think making a granny square is definitely one of the best things you can start out by making. Know the abbreviations for the basic stitches that I've mentioned. This is so important for reading patterns and following tutorials. And with abbreviations, I also think it is good to learn the symbols for each stitch too. It is super easy to learn, and once you learn it, you can read any pattern, which is so important in the crochet world. You're going to be using patterns all the time to make so many different things, and learning the symbols is really super easy because each symbol actually looks like how the stitch would look. Like the symbol for a double crochet looks like what a double crochet looks like. It's pretty accurate to whatever you're making, so that is really helpful that it's so easy to learn. Look at the wrapper on any skein of yarn you buy. It will tell you exactly what hook size you need to use for that yarn. If you use a bigger hook, your stitches are going to be bigger and looser than if you use a smaller hook. The stitches will be much smaller and tighter. So if you want your project to turn out as accurate as possible, make sure to use the right hook size according to the weight of yarn you are using. Use stitch markers. These are so helpful, especially when you are making rounds. It can be so easy to forget what row you were on of the circle. It all kind of just blends together and gets all mixed up, so it's important to mark your stitches. You don't even have to use actual stitch markers for this. I've used paper clips, safety pins, other little scrap pieces of yarn. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but I seriously recommend this because it can be helpful for any project, not just rounds, to know where your first and last stitch was on your project. Stitch markers are your friend. They are very important. Keep your scrap yarn. When you have extra yarn at the end of a project, don't just throw it away. You should keep it. There are so many scrap yarn projects out there that you can make. You can also use the yarn for stuffing. You can use it for accessorizing, like little bows and stuff on your projects. It can be used to sew different projects together. There's so many uses for scrap yarn, so do not throw it away. You will be wasting so much extra yarn that you might need later. Not even might need, you will need it. Scrap yarn is such a necessity. Watch my videos for crochet ideas. As you guys may know, on my channel I have a lot of crochet dedicated videos. If you are in need of ideas, then then you have come to the right girl, because I have an entire playlist on my channel page dedicated to crochet. I have tutorials, ideas, inspiration, so much crochet stuff on my channel. If you cannot figure out what to make, definitely go watch any of those videos, because there's literally an infinite amount of ideas. I get most of my ideas from Pinterest, so everything is super cutesy and trendy as well. That can be one of the most challenging things with crochet, is figuring out what to actually do with your yarn and finding a good project to make. Stretch your hands and wrists beforehand. Say no to carpal tunnel. I get carpal tunnel so bad because I am really bad about this. I definitely do not stretch before every time I start crocheting, and I seriously need to, because my hands get so tingly and sore and my wrists get sore. It's so bad. If you want to crochet for a long time throughout your life, definitely stretch before, because otherwise you will be suffering in the future from all of these issues. That repetitive motion really is no joke. It can put a lot of stress on your tendons and muscles and ligaments. Use liquid starch to stiffen projects. This is a great one if you're making hats or purses and keychains. Any project where you need it to not be flimsy and falling over, liquid starch can be great to stiffen it up and make it more stable and hard. This would also be a good one for tapestries, any like wall decor, because we know yarn is like super foldable and flimsy because it's yarn. So this is a great one for any of those types of projects. Write down the exact brand and color of your yarn before you start a new project. I can't tell you how many times I have started a project, the wrapper goes missing, gets thrown away, gets lost, whatever, and then I run out of yarn for that project, and then I'm like, wait, what color was this again? Where did I get this from? It happens so often, and this is such a great way to avoid that confusion. I definitely need to do this one. And it's just a smart thing to do to avoid any confusion mid-project making, because that's the last thing you want when you're spending so much time on this beautiful work of art that you're making. Use fabric glue on loose ends. Loose ends can be your worst nightmare. They can come undone and pop up out of your finished projects, and it's the most annoying thing ever, but this can be a quick fix for that. Just glue down those loose ends on the back of your project that no one sees. I've done this with hot glue before, and I don't think that is the best, because then the yarn's like all crunchy and it's not very comfortable, especially if you're using it on a clothing project. But fabric glue is perfect for this because it's flexible and it's not gonna make your project all like scratchy and crunchy. And it's just a great way to secure those loose ends in place so they're not randomly popping up in the most obscure places and making your project look not as good as it should. My last crochet tip I have for you guys today is to choose something small as your first project, so that way you don't get discouraged when you find out how time-consuming crochet actually is. Many people look at crochet and they're like, oh, that'd be so easy and like I could make that so quickly, but actually when you finally do start crocheting, you realize how long it actually takes just to make something so small. So I think it's important to choose something on the smaller side for your first project. Don't start with something super big because it's gonna end up taking months. But this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Start with a granny square. That's a super small and easy, great first time project to make. Anyways, guys, I think that is unfortunately going to wrap it up for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I hope this helped you guys out so much if you are a beginner and just starting out with crochet. If you guys do end up making something, please, please, please email me pictures of whatever you made. I love seeing your guys' crochet projects and featuring them in my videos. So if you want a chance to be featured, definitely send me your projects. If you guys did enjoy watching this video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment down below this emoji if you made it this far into the video, and subscribe if you want to see more of my face in the future. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!